Roman Reigns then is brought out, and he comes out with Heyman and Solo Sikoa. They had a lot of heat, and he says, Hollywood, acknowledge me. And he is interrupted by Cody Rhodes, who comes out and he is selling his ribs. He's holding on and comes in, and he acknowledges that Reigns was the better competitor last night, wishes that Solo Sikoa didn't have to be a factor and we could just have a one-on-one match because last night I had you. And Cody wants a rematch. Heyman turns him down. Or first he says, when do you want this rematch? And Cody says, tonight. Heyman declines and says, not tonight, not in Puerto Rico, not at SummerSlam, not at Survivor Series, not at Guilty as Charged, nowhere. No rematch for Cody. And then Cody calls out the chicanery of Paul Heyman that he's not going to stand tonight and he's not in a normal mood tonight. So Cody says, let's do something. Let's have a tag match. And after consulting with Heyman, Reigns accepts, but on the provision that if someone is stupid enough to team with you tonight in this tag match, they can never challenge Roman Reigns as long as he is champion. And with that, Brock Lesnar's music plays, and Corey Graves reminds us that Brock Lesnar, after losing to Reigns at SummerSlam last July, can never challenge Roman again. So therefore, the stipulation does not apply to Brock Lesnar as long as Roman is champion and is going to team with Cody.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a bit of a weird. I understand why they did it, of course, just to kind of like have a one-up on the Bloodline and Paul Heyman. But like in story and kayfabe, isn't that a bit of a weird request from the Bloodline? Like, why wouldn't Heyman put that restriction on Cody and instead put that restriction on the opponent that was to walk out?
There was a lot of this that I just found it was just like the logic of it all. Number one is I don't think they ever repeated this stipulation when Brock was going into the Royal Rumble this year. Like, don't you think that should have been that's
a great point. Yeah.
It's like, yes, Roman could have lost the title before WrestleMania, but this scenario, I mean, that obviously does not sell the match.
Well, he could challenge for the NXT championship. Okay. He like Charlotte did, he could challenge for the IC.
All viable options. Yeah. Had Brock won. On top of it. Okay. We can like mix in the angle at the end of all this. If you are Brock Lesnar and we assume you want to get to the title, would it not play to your strategy to befriend Cody and get him towards this rematch, and then you turn on him when he wins his title? Like, you have no chance back to this title. Like, what's
well, he's going to need a hell of an explanation next week, I think, for why he turned on him.
Well, there were definitely questions left after this. So
I did appreciate, at least for a few hours, we had best friend Cody and Brock Lesnar. Look how much these two were playing it up, Like, I don't know if they've ever had any sort of on-screen interaction.
I wish they did at least like one backstage segment instead of just segment one and the final segment of the night. Like, just something that it's like, it's Goofy Brock and it's the last time we're going to have Goofy Brock for a long time, and just kind of cements that, okay, these two are like buds now. And it would have made the turn to me a little bit more, just have some more like, we're doing a 2-hour turn here or 3-hour turn. So give me a little something.
Well, we don't know how many dates Brock has. Maybe he's not going to show up for a bit.
So Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa against Cody Rhodes, and we're doing the in-ring introductions of the men when all of a sudden Brock destroys Cody Rhodes and hits him with a pair of F5s, and he's just prodding over top of Cody. And given the segment that this was in, it was 10:52 when he attacked Cody, and I instantly knew no one's coming to save Cody, and we are going to get Brock beating on this man for 8 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
There was a big gap of where were Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who had this guy's back 24 hours ago.
They need to explain that. Sure. Yeah.
Like, they could have easily just had the segment where they're celebrating their win and they take off in their car. And that's a 30-second backstage taping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you just did the save last night. I thought that was glaring for one of these when you had just done it the night before. But nonetheless, if you are listening carefully, Corey Graves completely called this segment. Like, there was so little reaction from Kevin Patrick It was all Corey Graves. He was the one that I have no doubt had like whatever voice in his ear and was directing. And it was him just pretty much calling all of this. As Kevin Patrick just like rode shotgun, which is just interesting, like being like it's the color guy that's like handling your big angle. But he just drives the steps into Cody, hits the timekeeper's bell. He took a chair at one point and he launched this thing, and it was bringing you back to that door being thrown. He just threw this thing into orbit. Pierce is out, the officials are out, and does further damage to the ribs of Cody as he F5s him onto the steps, stands over top of him in the ring, and then goes to leave, but then comes back with a chair with more chair shots. They're searching for any concerned looks in the crowd that they can cut to. And then at the end, Lesnar just stands on top of the stage and gives the middle fingers as the show ends. And we have this was the other big angle of the night, getting to a Cody Brock Lesnar match at some point down the road. And your detour for Cody Rhodes to get him away for Roman Reigns as he is denied a rematch. And they've got to keep those two away as far as they need to. And Brock is a good distraction. Like they can delay this match too. Like, I don't know if Brock's doing Puerto Rico, but that would probably be the earliest you could do this, if not stretching it longer to Saudi Arabia. Did
you get assurance tonight from watching that they were going to go back to Roman versus Cody after a long period?
I think that they will eventually get there, but it was certainly like they have created the obstacle for him.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty assured just by the way, Cody introduced the rematch idea. And I thought Cody sounded pretty good in just being pissed off and being fired up and wanting revenge. So I think for that reason, I can see that they might be building back up to a rematch, but you never know. This could have already been the end of this story, the end of this, rivalry between Cody and Roman. And with this detour to Brock Lesnar, it just kind of gives them an out to cut this off, which would be disappointing. But as a follow-up,
well, no, like, I mean, that is the Money in the Bank is that tool that they can easily explain, like that bypasses, anything like that's it's not like this was some agreed upon stipulation. It is Roman is denying him a rematch, but if you get your opportunity with Money in the Bank, that sets up the rematch for Cody, and that could set up SummerSlam, that could set up where you go. So they have the obstacle there. Your goal is going to be to recreate what you had built up for the last 3 months, and we will see if they can do it or not. It was they had built it up pretty damn big for Sunday night, so now the goal is, or the job is to start over, and hopefully you have something equal, if not bigger, for the second one.
Well, as a follow-up program for Cody Rhodes that is just lost to Roman Reigns, I think Brock Lesnar is pretty damn great. You have one of the hottest baby faces you've had in a long time against one of your most effective heels on a main event level,
and will require Brock to do a real match as opposed to your 5 minutes that he's been doing for a while.
Well, it'll require Cody to take a lot of suplexes.
Well, yeah, this is a match where Cody has to get killed for it, and I believe Cody's template is going to be that John Cena match with Brock, the first one that they did when Brock came back in 2012, not the maybe Cody will take inspiration from the SummerSlam suplex match as well.
I think Cody will excel like in that type of Brock Lesnar match. I'm looking forward to it. It's good to have like a serious, a heel Brock Lesnar return. This would have been even better if it was for a championship, but hey, like the match I'm sure will be really good.
I can see Brock winning this first match too.
Oh yeah, me too.
Whether you're going to get a multiple match series or it's just Cody loses and then gets into Money in the Bank, like I see Brock winning this match. And then later on this week, it is a special Thursday edition of Rewind Away. We're putting it out Thursday this week for postwrestlingcafe.com members. And this week, what are we discussing?
We'll be talking about CM Punk on The Art of Wrestling with Cole Cabana. This obviously is probably the most talked about professional wrestling podcast that has ever existed. This was the thing that put these two into court with certain people that were mentioned on this podcast and was the ultimate reason for the falling out between the two. So it's not often we go back and look at a podcast, but this one was chosen by an executive producer and we thought was important enough to really dive into. So looking forward to that.
Yes. And for Cafe members, especially new ones that have just jumped on board, you will get that show on Thursday, then Rewind to SmackDown on Friday. Saturday, Bruce Lord and Karen Peterson are doing a review of a New Japan Sakura Genesis card, which is a very strong show on paper. I will not be doing that show because there's a UFC pay-per-view Saturday night as the synergy continues. And Sunday, we will have a UFC 287 post show with myself and Eric Marcotte. And then the week caps off with WrestleNomics Radio, where, I mean, this is the story of all stories for WrestleNomics listeners. So a great week to follow up WrestleMania week. And again, thank you to all of you that checked out our WrestleMania coverage. The site did really well last week, and especially people that signed up at postwrestlingcafe.com. $6 gets you in the door with multiple bonus shows per week, 3 coming at you this coming week. And of course, you can also subscribe at video.postwrestling.com. That gives you video access to all of our bonus shows that we do, and a great way to support our beautiful images.